Welcome to Drop and Give Me 20, where you learn keys to entrepreneurial success as Lindsey interviews business owners with military backgrounds on what works and what doesn't. Listen as they focus on the stories, both challenges and wins, that military entrepreneurs have faced in growing their businesses.
What I really wanted to do with Drop and Give Me 20 is continue to provide value to our military entrepreneurs listeners. So that's where the podcast started from. Of course, I'm so proud because we now have a lot of other military-oriented podcasts that are out there. Not like I started it. I would never take that credit. But maybe it's also because I'm in the space and I can see. And so I'm like, gosh, everybody is really like bringing this home and we're all like this powerhouse of podcasters. But then I wanted to look at like, well, if there's no need for my podcast, then there's no need for it, right? But when I look at like what others are doing and when I look internally and what brings me joy, it's a lot of the entrepreneurial stuff. So it can be, how do you do tasks? How do you stay organized? So I said, maybe I'll circle back to season 1 guests, sort of as like a, where are they now? And talk about that, but also talk about still what we need as entrepreneurs. And we know there's QuickBooks out there. We've talked a lot about Asana, Trello, Basecamp. And for those that are listening, those are programs that you can use to help build your remote business and keep organized. There's Google Docs, and just listen to any of the other 40-something episodes, and we touch on all those topics. Katie, you were a guest when you came on in season 1. We did that recording in 2016, and it was right at the end of the year. And so we were sharing with folks how to prepare for a successful 2017. And in that space, you were talking about the personal leadership philosophy, and you gave us 3 really great breakdowns, which are define, disseminate, and disseminate. Maybe it was just the 2.
It was 3, but it was probably, I don't remember the D, but it's action, like making it happen. So.
Deliver, let's say that. Yeah. So the season 1 episode with Katie Christy, she talked a lot about that, and it was very helpful to me, especially as we start to like, you really need to have a mission and vision. So when I reached out to Katie to get her on board for season 3, Katie, what did you share with me?
Well, it was a bit of because last year, honestly, right about a year ago today, we found out that we were being stationed over in Milan, Italy, which is phenomenal. Couldn't ask for anything better personally, but professionally, it was one of the only places in the entire Army and the entire NATO and the entire world that I couldn't continue my business. The Italian SOFA regulations don't allow military spouses to earn any income outside of government sources. So if I was close to Vicenza or another large base, I could work there. But since we're kind of out here, one of 16 families out here, it's not really possible. And that was really hard for me to swallow as an entrepreneur, because part of the reason I started my own business was to take control of my destiny and be able to continue my career wherever we went. And so I was able to do that in the traditional sense. But thankfully, with a lot of time, a little bit of tears, I was able to really see how these 3 years are allowing me to even step back a little bit more. I'm going back, getting even more education. I'm still working with companies because I'm so passionate about what I'm doing. I'm working on a pro bono basis just to keep active, relevant, and to keep them on their journeys as they're going. They supported me. I want to continue to support them. So it's been a really fun year.
Really, just to stay sharp, right?
Correct. Yeah. You can either just hide and put your head in the sand and woe is me. That would have been very easy. And I have to admit, I did do that for a little bit. But it was really just taking this amazing opportunity and taking like a huge detour. And I don't know where I'm going from here, but I'm excited to continue the path.
Tell me about this SOFA arrangement. Like, could you have a business incorporation in the States, but your residency is in Italy? Like, they won't let that happen?
You could form like an Italian LLC, but you have to give up all sponsorship rights. So you can't go on basis, you can't be protected under the American embassy, and you have to pay Italian taxes. Yeah, so the ramifications are pretty serious if you want to do that. It's a possibility, but you really have to give up quite a lot in order to make it happen.
I'm sorry that happened, but also excited because your excitement, I'm a empath. So like what you're feeling, I feel. And so I feel like, yes, I know that feeling. And many of our listeners do, where you need to wallow for a little bit. You need to like cry it out, just beat something up, go in I'm going to be in a hole for a little bit, but I value and admire your ability to like, okay, I recognize this and I'm here and I'm gonna let myself process that, but I need to get out. Right.
Because that's not a fun space to be in.
No.
I mean, like you said, it's necessary, but it's not helpful for me or my family or even my business if I want to look at it that way. So it's out of necessity, but also out of, just who I am as well, like you spoke.
But it's a very common thing for especially military spouses, is whether they're moving entrepreneurial from one country to the other, it's also career driven for those that want to transfer their career from state to state. So I think we all can relate to that. Okay, so here's the good stuff. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay. This is so exciting. Okay, so what I did, for those that are listening, season 3 also has an element of surprise. So what I wanted to do, I know when somebody tells me I'm doing a good job and it's a family member or a loved one, it means the world to me, because so often we are in our own headspace and and there's other people that are like, oh, wow, you're really successful. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't see what it's like at home when I'm like, and I don't know, success is different for everybody. So how do you define that? And then I get into like, see how I can't even take a compliment. Like, I'm like, but I'm not. So I have asked our season 1 guests to send an email to like 3 or 4 of their, supporters. It can be family members. It could be someone that has really watched your journey from a career standpoint. And so I have those for Katie. Katie, I have not read these because when I read them, I want to be authentic and I want you to be authentic. So Katie doesn't know what I'm about to read to her. I have not read them. I literally just printed them out. If I see a cuss word or something inappropriate, I'll just skim over it. But if anything mentions Katie's really good in bed, I'll just skip that from her, All right.
Your strengths.
right. I mean, so it is what it is. We have our first one, and I don't know what order to go into, but I'm just going to pick the first person that replied was, and I'll tell you the person's name after, but, and maybe you'll figure it out as I'm reading it too, but at the end, I'll tell you. Okay. So, I did also send a little, if you're kind of stumped for thoughts, here are some kind of prompts about the guest. So, biggest moment. I saw a photo/video of Katie presenting to a large group. She looked so self-confident, knowledgeable, and in the zone that it was breathtaking. All a parent really wants is for their child to find opportunity to do what they love/fills their soul. Do really well. Perseverance. I have listened to Katie make calls and be told no, and she is kind and considerate over and over again. Self-motivated. She sets her own internal and external goals, timetables, and evaluations. Networking, Katie really connects with people from many different areas and finds them back again in other situations. Balancing. She has so many important life events going on all at once, with her family taking top seat. I love the mother she is with her sons. Happiest moment. I love hearing Katie talk about clients who she has counseled and they have been successful. Seeing the joy it brings her, and of course, I love seeing her snuggle with her boys. Characteristics. She can transmogrify. Transmogrify. In parentheses, this is written out. Transform in a surprising or magical manner. So now we've learned a new word.
Learn that, man. This is good so far.
The military life is so changing that she has had to rethink constantly. She loves to plan, and to be unable to plan for even the simplest of things is difficult. I hope this works. Juanita Smith.
Oh, my mama.
Is this mom?
Yeah.
Oh, right, because at the top. Okay, so and she also has this little, like, you know, people in their signature, they have a quote sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So this is mom's quote. Live without pretending, love without depending, listen without defending, and speak without offending. And I don't know if she meant to include that for this or if that's just her signature, but that's so nice, Mom.
It's everything. It's who she is. So
Okay.
I'm so happy that you shared that because I get to see that every day when I get our email, but it's nice to share that with everyone.
And it's someone, Dan S. White. So if anybody's looking for that quote, I think that that's a really powerful one and one that obviously speaks to you as well. Okay. Number 2. I know.
Mascara today.
Hold on. If you did this to me, I would like cry and just be ugly, so, like bubbles in my nose. So
I know. Okay.
All right, Lindsey, thanks for doing this. You're welcome. I appreciate you taking the time to recognize Katie on your podcast. No problem. What has been the biggest moment for me watching Katie's business grow? I've witnessed a lot of big moments for Katie, but the one that stands out to me may not be the one that she or others would necessarily highlight. The moment I would like to highlight is when I picked her up at the end of the Clifton Strengths Finder certification in Omaha. To me, it signals the moment when everything clicked into place. The moment when Katie really gained confidence in her strengths and the passion to help others unlock theirs. It was the moment she took control of her entrepreneurial journey and found herself. Ooh. This is so much more emotional for me. I was not ready for this. All right. And as always, I divert with humor. So let's go back. Okay. Is there something Katie does really well that you don't think she hears enough about? Everyone knows that Katie is a rock star entrepreneur, writer, and trainer, but I would like to highlight that she is a really great mom to Kaden and Cameron. It is not easy to run a business, co-start, and write for a magazine, and run the household, especially when your husband is off serving the nation in a distant land. She never misses a beat, and the boys adore their superhero mom.
Oh, that's for my hubby, isn't it?
What is the happiest moment you've seen them experience in their business? In 2016, I had a rare opportunity to partner with Katie at the Society of Human Resource Management, SHRM, conference in Asheville, North Carolina. She completely blew me away with her enthusiasm, professionalism, and ability to connect with others. Again, I'm not sure if this is a particular pinnacle that Katie would highlight, but it is a moment that I got to see behind the curtain. I felt the passion and saw her hustle up close and in action. And I saw her hustle up close and in action. I was incredibly proud to stand behind her to support. Last part. We only have one more letter. What characteristics do you feel she has that she may or may not be aware of? Katie is full of action, energy, and ideas. She rarely slows down and accomplishes her aims and goals at a blistering pace, but she is also a great listener. I definitely believe this is one of her more underappreciated skills, but it is a big part what makes her such a great writer, trainer, coach, partner, and mom. Send me a note if you need anything else. Best, John.
Josh!
Josh! Who's John?
That's phenomenal. I was like, wait, this John guy sounds
John. It's not Josh. Not John. Josh, I'm sorry. This is not from John. I don't know a John. I'm like getting red.
I love it. That made it even better.
That's from Josh. Okay. All right. Last one. Look how red I am. It's so funny.
Lindsey, you're cracking me up. Like, I want to force the hair on.
All right. What has been the most significant for you watching Katie's business grow? I have always admired how passionately Katie pursues the task at hand, no matter what that task is. So often we see professionals approach their goals as if they're in a dead sprint, only to lose stamina when they realize that entrepreneurialism is more like a marathon. But not Katie. She's a beautiful example of strong and steady. More recently, my admiration for her has grown in a new way, and that's in her ability and determination to lean into the season. As she's probably mentioned already, her family recently PCSed to an area that is governed by SOFA regulations, which means she has had to close her main LLC. Naturally, one might assume this would devastate and derail a professional, but again, not Katie. Instead, she's chosen to recognize that this is a season and that her health, happiness, and success are not wrapped up into one sole role or achievement, but rather the unique strengths, values, and experiences she's gained and chooses to carry with her wherever she goes. Is there something that Katie does really well or characteristics she has that she might not be aware of? From my very first interaction with Katie, I was drawn to her innate ability to inspire action and motivation in others. She's always had a powerfully magnetic way of identifying others' strengths and igniting in them a desire to use those strengths to pursue their passions. It's a rare quality and one I believe we could use more in our community. What is the happiest moment you've seen her experience in her business? Time and time again, it's in moments of empowering others. Whether it's her coaching sessions, team projects, or the interviews she conducts with us at Legacy Magazine, she seems most fulfilled when she's harnessing her ability to truly see and hear the other person and help them uncover or emphasize their purpose and passion. Do you know who wrote this?
That's Miss Abby Ray.
That's Miss Abby Ray.
Oh, she has such a way with words. I almost don't know what me she's talking about.
It's so lovely.
So beautiful, yeah.
It's so lovely. So 3 people at least feel you are just this amazing person. And for us, again, season 3 was really, I wanted to share these thoughts with our guests. I need you to know this, right? I need you to know that, even though you're over there and you had even said to me, I don't know if I'm a good fit. I'm like, absolutely, you are. We need to hear this. Yeah. John really thinks so. So, I thought it would be a really cool concept if we did this together and we shared this together and share this with our listeners as we're all working in very, very much isolation. Yes. And seeing what others organize. And again, Katie didn't know that these 3 had come in, that she didn't get to read them beforehand. So her responses during this recording are legit. And obviously I didn't read it before, or else I wouldn't have called her husband a different name. Harry. What would you share with our guests, hearing all that, Katie?
Oh my gosh. Well, first, like you kind of mentioned, I think it's so easy for us to shy away from our natural strengths because they come naturally to us, right? We think everyone's good at because we're good at them. And so I think one of the things that we really deny ourselves is that ability to accept praise, to refill that tank. And so, it's taken a lot of work over the last couple of years to truly be able to receive those words without trying to defend them. And so it feels really good to let that in your soul and to just kind of fill up your little lake. So I'm just bursting over here, with my little love tank full with words of admiration.
Yes. And now you have something that if you're feeling down, if you're feeling frustrated, I'll say, because it's going to happen. I hope that you know that there are people out here that support you. And I hope that our listeners know that too. And I think this is what season 3 is about. It's, okay, season 1, here are the amazing military spouse and entrepreneurs and military veteran entrepreneurs. Season 2 was more let's have a discussion about the things. And now season 3 is I need you guys to know, as military, from military to military, this SHIT is hard, but you're doing amazing.
Yes. And the other thing that really stuck with me that I could not be happier about is that they saw where my strengths really were. It would be easy to say oh, she was successful in XYZ. She got this big client. It was none of that. It was the small things. It was, empowering others, seeing others win, unlocking other strengths. And that is 100% correct. And it's so nice that those things shown through without having to advertise them or, put them out there or feel spammy. So
I know it's weird. You're like, I love to receive feedback, but who's going to do that for me when I'm the business owner, right? So, well, even if you don't have a team, that's hard. So
correct. Yeah. So I can't thank you enough for sharing those. It's fun to see you innovate and continue. And I appreciate you taking a chance because it's new and different. And so it's going to feel funny and there are going to be little things, but that's what life is.
This is it. This is the most exciting thing I've worked on in a really long time. So I know. And I was worried, I was like, oh my gosh, when I email guests, they're going to get if you email this to me, I'd get I just get a little, I want to hide. I just want to but I think for the greater good of providing value to and helping our military entrepreneurs, that this is the stuff that is gold. So we are going to be keep us posted. I know the sofa arrangement is what it is, but I foresee that not really slowing you down a whole lot. And I'll share these letters with you as well for them too, so that you can have them. But thank you, Katie, for coming on, and thank you for getting vulnerable with me.
Yes, it is. It's so much fun, and I have to encourage others to do the same. It feels hard, and I'm a serial, I will email you back in 5 minutes. And I fully admit that I flagged Lindsey's email and was like, this is too scary. I'm scared to ask people. I'm scared to ask my mama,
Yes.
It's scary to take that risk, though, to people that you love and trust. They love and trust you, and they want the opportunity, too. So it's okay to feel vulnerable. It's okay to get scared, but step out there because the risk is worth the reward.
I mean, and as I said, if you did this to me, I would be like, boom, I get it. And so that excites me more that I could be a part of this with you. So thank you for sharing your time with me. I'll forward all this to you. And for those that are listening, please go back and listen to Katie's podcast episode. She talked a lot about growing where you're planted, which it's relative to her now. And reinventing was the other big word that you highlighted in that episode. So if you want to hear Katie's episode, just go back on any of your favorite podcast players, Google Play, Stitcher, iTunes, all the things, or you can listen to it right on our website, and you can hear Katie's personal leadership philosophy that she shared, her tips as well. Thank you so much, Katie, for your support, and I know I'll be following you around. I'll be seeing you soon.
Same here, Lindsey. Thank you again for the opportunity, and thank you to my mama, to Josh, not John, and Abby for taking time out of your busy schedules to say hello. Your words, even though they may have taken you, an hour to write, will fill me for days and days and days. So thank you to you and to everyone that responded.
Awesome. All right, Katie. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Drop and Give Me 20, brought to you by Germono Advertising Company in Norfolk, Virginia. Please visit our podcast in iTunes, click on subscribe, and leave us a review. Your support goes a long way. When you subscribe and leave reviews, it helps the guests on our show as well. Jump in and let us know what you think. You can also follow all of our guests on the Drop and Give Me 20 Facebook page. We have Instagram and Twitter. Those handles are Give Me 20 Podcast. I'm your host, Lindsey Germono, and I appreciate you listening to the show.